Hello everyone. Here right now we will have Gungage 100 flower, speedrun. Now this is one of my favorite games in childhood. Actually, my favorite, because I like the characters so much. But besides, the game, as as I was a child, was very hard, and I spent a lot of time in front of it. And as a child, all these characters and their designs were really cool. So does the music, so does the environments, and let's be honest, look at these graphics. This game looks better than like 90% of the other PlayStation games. Like, look at Gran Turismo 2, for example. It sold millions and millions. And they are almost looking like a NES game, like Mario or old Castlevanias, etc. This game looks like a PlayStation game actually. It's also 3D, of course. Here I am unlocking Steer because the next character will be Steer. So overall, I spent years playing this game, and afterwards, as I discovered EPSXE, I revisited this game from time to time, and by the time I'm actually taking a break from this game, I already got used to the controls. Like, the PlayStation buttons, the characters' movements are like controlling my own body and my own limbs. I'm getting used to it so much. Now, before I begin, explaining what I am doing, I also need to explain. This is kind of like a speedrun here, but I can't call it an exact speedrun because I was using Bandicam and I couldn't find any other good screen recorder, and Bandicam is like very expensive. $49.99 for lifetime membership, but like it's too expensive, just for a screen recorder. I couldn't do that. So between the levels I was like recording, and I was stopping recording and re-recording in the beginning of the next level. Maybe you may not be able to realize it while you are watching because there is a short key option in Bandicam. So I press one of the buttons and I immediately press it back to keep going. Otherwise, the Bandicam is limited for 10 minutes. But again, while watching, I don't think it is recognizable or anything, unless you look at it very, very carefully. So here, I'm at stage 2. Now, with VCall, we go as far as we can until... I'm sorry, not as far as we can. We will go until stage 6. And then, because we don't go stage 7, because we will revisit stage 7 with other characters, and with other characters we will complete all the flowers in stage 7, as well as in stage 8 and as well as in stage 9. Like, I have to visit those places with other characters, and when I do that, all the flowers will be completed. So there is no reason for me to go there with VCall, because if I go these stages with VCall, there will be missing flowers, and in order to get those missing flowers, I will enter the same stage with the other characters. So there will be no point with going in there in those stages with VCall. We will end it at stage 6. So far, I am just, basically doing all the levels. Now, when I'm reaching the end point with VCall, I will basically use the reset, command in the game, which I haven't knew for like years. for some reason. When you press R1, L1, start and select all at the same time, the game actually resets and sends you back to the character select. But all the flowers you collected, as well as all the characters you unlocked, will be saved. So this allows you to do a speedrun like this. Also, when you collect 80 flowers, the game allows you to travel any stage you want immediately. So this will save us a lot of time as well. Like I hardly play Gungage here because he has good weapons, but his movement sucks ass basically. He's slow, so until I unlocked him, I will be able to collect 80 flowers, and then I will visit the exclusive spots of Gungage in order to finish game, as well as a few other characters as well. Here I almost got, catched to tornado attack. Tornado attack is dangerous if the mod, lands right next to you, because it begins sucking you inside. So you can easily evade this with dash movements, but if you catch to the tornado with card and D, escaping is too hard because their dashes are slow and weak, while with Vicol and Steer you can easily escape. So I call this level Stone Age here. Stone Age is like the rest level, it's always early in each character's route. I had to change my position. So I'm basically, collecting everything, and the enemies are not threatening at all. Like, they are basic enemies. There are huge gaps between these enemies also. Here I will make a skip. I will collect the flower here. Now there is another flower when I go straight forward at this very moment. But there's a cave, and inside the cave there is a life extender as well as a flower. However, when I begin playing D and I enter this stage, D will start right next to that very same cave. So there is no reason for me to walk all the way down there with Vicol, because D will start right next to it. So I skip that flower and keep going. The speed boss again, easy. Now, with Vicol, boss fights are a bit longer, but movement is so fast that I believe it compensates. Also, his primary weapon is very good. It does good damage. It follows up mobs well. Like, for example, when you play with Steer, his weapon sounds better than Vicol's, but against butterflies, Steer's weapon is, it basically crumbles. Like, it can't target butterflies well, or since her weapon, her ammos have short hitboxes, it can miss butterflies easily. Vicol's primary weapon is very optimal. It can catch mobs easily, it can press them easily, good damage. It is optimal. And its defensive abilities will allow me to skip certain areas easily with shield. And here we have robot boss. That jumping fish was almost catching me in there. I usually just listen to its voice, and then don't care, because as long I usually think that as long as I dash correctly, it won't catch me, and it always does. But for some reason, while I'm recording, it almost catch me in there. You know, it looked dangerous, and it looked like I didn't got hit by a, you know, chance, but that's not the case really. I just automatically knew that he can't catch me while I am dashing, even if you know he was this close at hitting me. Now I will collect the desert flower here, and desert flower, you know, is best. It is best for me to get it with recall, because as you see, his dashes are very fast, and also, you know, there is no chance for me to die here, while with other characters, like I will skip desert with steer, and when I arrive at desert with D, I also skip desert with, you know, card as well, because I will use stage select to collect all the flowers. And with D, when I arrive at desert level with D, I'm usually in a bad condition here. I hardly survive, or sometimes die. You will see in this very run as well, because I spent all of his specials in the previous level. I believe it was power plant, and I had to survive without any special ammo in desert with D, or I will die, and when I revive I will get all some mana back so that I can kill tanks. Then I will of course collect the, you know, drops, and I will use specials again. So recall is the best choice here to collect this flower and finish the level. Easy. Now we will go to lake level. In the lake level, I must talk about this. There are some piece of shits out there that, you know, reviewing this game, and one of the assholes says that the game has some impossible jumps. One of the impossible jumps is right there, on the left. The stupid asshole tries to jump that platform straightly forward, while you should go to the right side like I do here, and this jump is very easy. You know, people do reviews, but they do not know jack shit about these games, and they make me angry. There is another jump that he calls impossible, and some of these statues are impossible to reach by recall and other characters as well, but they are supposed to be this way. Those statues are only available to steer because her jump is higher. So they are meant to be this way. The other impossible jump that asshole was talking about was, you know, we will probably not see it here in this run, but basically when we follow the path on the right, there is a space between, you know, rest of the road and the, you know, path in the bottom. That jump meant to be undoable because the game wants you to face the enemies on the other side. I get some fall damage here to save time, because again I do this speedrun style. It's safe to call this a speedrun actually. I kill the flies because they always catch you, and they may allow me to drop to the sea, because sometimes when you got hit, the characters like falling behind, you know, or they drop, and while drop they are also going back a little, and this may cause me to drop to the sea if they hit me when I'm close to the edge of the platform. So I get rid of them, and I keep collecting flowers. Right, I got hit like a dumbass here. I wasted some time. Now I will get the other flower as well. I wonder that cocksucker also made these jumps before reviewing the game. Now, keep in mind, I basically turned back here. If I could go forward, there were 2 more flowers. But again, one of those flowers are on a really high statue, and only a steer can reach there. So I skipped that part with recall. I will get those flowers when I'm playing steer. So I'm basically saving some time with dashes. Now the wolf bosses, you know, these gave me nightmares back in the day. Because back in the day, now, there are also some assholes that criticize the movement here. And as you know, you are watching the video for like 15 minutes by now. Have you ever seen me struggle in like any path or anything? I move naturally because I knew the controls. There are these assholes that don't know or don't understand the controls, and they are bitching about it. In the game, the left and right buttons make you turn around the character. But if you directly want to go left and right, you should press R1 and L1. And you can combine R1 and L1 with, you know, direction buttons, just like I'm doing all the time, and you can move whichever way you want easily. Like, all you have to do is just like getting a little bit practice. It is not hard or anything. As you can see, I can move really no problem at all. And while you are making dashes, you can make like huge turns, like almost 180-degree in the end of the dashes. So you can basically do everything in this game. Controls are amazing. The game is made by KSIT, which also made Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and that game also has amazing movement as well. So I'm not shocked that this game is awesome. You know, specials, primary, locking system is also amazing. 90% of the time, auto-lock, you know, does what you want it to do. It doesn't go awkward places too often. It almost like reads my mind or something, or maybe I got used to it so much, I don't know. Now this level is a nightmare to go through, but luckily Recall has a shield and we will save a lot of time. And we won't fight the enemies most of the time, basically. Those green, you know, grenade launchers are a nightmare. I mean, it was a nightmare back in the day. They are still scary because their precision is so accurate. Like, they detect where you are going, and their grenades are moving so fast. Like, this is not the case with these blue robots here. You know, their lasers are like fast. But you can easily, you know, misdirect, you know, their shots. You pretend going one direction, then you immediately turn. Like, they are easy to dodge. Sometimes when I am not facing these robots, I just hear, you know, their shots, and I immediately change direction and they miss. Like, they are not so hard to deal with. But those grenade launchers are just a nightmare. They are not that easy to dodge. I must be patient, and I must be, you know, I must be cautious, basically. Now this is the last flower with what we call. Now there are lots of flowers going forward, but those places will be, you know, passed with steer, inevitably.
So there is no reason for me to collect them with Vicol. When I will do the same stage with steer, there is only one flower will left and it is exclusive to card Birdish and I will get it in the end. So now I will go with steer. I basically pressed R1, L1, start select when I picked that last flower with recall. Down. With steer. This level is a waste of time, but in order to collect, rest of the flowers, I have to skip this level, unfortunately. The other choice is, playing card, and I prefer playing a flowers level with steer rather than, doing that many stages with card. Card is small. He's strong. Card is strong, by the way, because once you learn how to use grenades, card melts down bosses better than everyone because his grenades doesn't require any mana. They are not specials. They are your primary. So it's steer or their specials are obviously strong, but sometimes you will out of mana. Card doesn't have this problem. He's more consistent with bosses, and outside of the train boss, card basically melts down every boss. And of course, no, you can kill final boss very fast as well. All you have to do is getting used to aim with left 2 button. What you should do is you use L2 and make a curvy shot with grenade. You will aim air and the grenades will hit the targets basically. You need to do that with Spider, the reactor boss. If you aim well and if you can do it fast, you will do tons of damage. But again, the walkthrough wise, he is very slow. Especially when he got hit, like he drops and he recovers very, very slowly. Steer and D drops as well, but they get up very fast, and Vicol doesn't drop. He just gets a pushback basically and immediately recovers. But card gets up so slow. I used to use the advantage of crouch ability of steer, like now. It is useful, I guess, against robots with blue lasers as well, because those blue lasers can't hit you while you are crouched. They can hit you in midair, but when you crouch, they can't, lock down to you. They can target you for some reason. They are only programmed to lock down to, horizontally or to midair. Steer is so fun to use, by the way. She really does. Now, this boss was very hard back in the day, but as soon as you learn how to jump the lasers of his, he's very easy. And of course here he has low health, so he died immediately. One of the coolest boss battles, by the way. And one of the coolest explosions as well. And he's scary too, like his mouth is like very scary, and he has that crystal instead of, you know, actual eyes. That shit was scary, man, back during my childhood. Now, laboratory, as I said, I skipped this stage with recall because I will play with Steer here already on my way. So there was no point for me to play it with recall basically. And she is also faster than recall in, you know, empty spaces like that because of her forward dash. Also, laboratory is the stage 8 of, you know, recall, but here it is just stage 2, so the level is pretty much empty, so it's easy to move around with Steer. And forward dash saves so much time. Oh, I dodged them really well. No, I don't get hit by them anyway, usually. But for some reason I choose the hard way there. Flowers are now. Here we don't read the second computer because second computer will unlock a card. And if we unlock a card here, we can't unlock D. And we must unlock D because I should, you know, save card for the last. This is slow. Have I mentioned this slow? Yeah. Here I'm just killing mobs and collecting all the flowers. With this one run, the whole lab is done. Like, lab will be completed with this run basically. Tesla drive charged. Now from here we will go to left with D. If I unlock the card, the room here would be closed. But since I didn't unlock, this room is available. And we will unlock D basically. And D is super strong as well. Like his specials are amazing. They're a bit basic, like a red orb, black orb, laser, and force field. The force field is very cool too. The force field, like the most useful of his abilities, because force field basically operates the same way with Mirror of Steer. But of course, force field doesn't reflect the enemy attacks, but it absorbs them. After this video, I will do a, you know, it's infinite points challenge with final boss. I will basically break its arms and I will kill the leeches until I get, you know, bonus lives and reach to like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million or whatever until I got bored. The way to prove you reached infinite is basically being able to earn extra lives from the crystals that leeches drop. I did it a couple of times in the past, but I never recorded. After this one I will record. this level again. No, I almost get shot. I believe I got shot by one of these. Yeah, I got shot by this. But at least you saw the way they attack, you know. Because they are so predictable that people usually don't see the way they are attacking, you know, those satellite-like things. But that attack is very cool actually. And it is so sudden, and it always makes you shocked, like, because at first milliseconds you don't understand what the fuck is going on, like, then you are immediately like, oh, I got shot by those assholes. At power plants now, when I clear here, only cards exclusive will remain. I hate those motorcycles. Now they are good, you know, good opponents, but again they are annoying. But I like tough challenges in the end. But they are very tough because they, together with, you know, grenade launchers, always a bad combination. Because you need to focus to grenade launcher in order to mislead their attacks, but while you are trying to do so, the motorcycles are distracting you a lot. So they are a, you know, deadly combinations.
Tesla drive charge.
And I hate those green bombs even more because they don't do jack shit, but they, you know, they basically tank your ammos most of the time when you wanted to focus on the grenade launchers or anything. You know, they want to aim for them, but since they are covering in front of the targets you want to hit, you know, they are annoying, and they have huge life bar. Like those green, you know, hanging bombs die really hard. They have huge HP. Now, just like with Vicol, I will immediately enter the boss room because in the, you know, other sections there is only one flower, and I already, you know, collected it with Vicol. You know, the last flower that I collected was there, but it's already collected, so instead of wasting time, I immediately fight the boss. Of course, I will collect the last flowers. I remember that first time I, you know, explored this X room, I was expecting the door to be closed. I got close to it, and it immediately opened, but it opened so fast that I kinda like scared as a kid, because I wasn't expecting it to be, you know, opened. Now I will use laser to kill this boss, but first I'm cleaning these annoying, you know, turrets or whatever. Because when I use laser, they will, you know, they will cause the lasers to be scattered, because laser will focus on them as well. I want all the damage to go through, you know, orb. I got basically rich with Nova. I can use one more Nova, but saving it for later is always better. Nova is like the most broken, one of the most broken, because the animation takes a little time, while it is, you know, it's an orbital attack, it attacks everything broken. It does huge damage, inescapable, and stopping time while doing it is also useful at certain times, because sometimes you are launching this special when you are about to get hit, and you are like triggering Nova with in a reflective way, and since it stops time, you are guaranteed to not getting any hit.
Tesla drive charged.
And laser is also too broken. Not necessarily because of its damage, but it collects materials. Especially in the infinite point challenge that I will make in the future, like, laser is broken because I basically kill leeches and I, use a laser and bam, it fuels my mana. It will collect all the crystals, all the HP recovery items. It's broken. Steer is the most broken one. I guess they're like, this is the only female, so let's make it, the strongest. She's clearly the strongest character, by far. Other characters, their ups and downs, but this one, Steer, has almost no downs. Her primary is struggling against, butterflies a little, but you can easily kill butterflies with Mirror or even Nova, if it's necessary. So, she's broken, what can I say? The most powerful member. Gameplay-wise, of course. Vikol has better movement, but, he lacks set specials. D is perfect with specials, but he struggles with movement. Steer is good at everything. Her specials are also so cool, like Nova, Mirror, all of them are so good to look at. Her dashes has those blue flames. She's so beautiful. Controlling the character is also so, nice. Both Vikol and Steer is fun to use. The other two, they are, heavy attackers, but I prefer movement a little more. Even with Vikol, like, he has no offensive skills, but still, I prefer his movement. I like playing him more. I like evading or dodging stuff. Now here, we already did here with Vikol, but there are exclusive flowers for Steer. After this we have town stage and desert. We will skip these stages. Just, same with Vikol, like, there are no exclusive flowers to Steer there. So there is no point in playing those stages, and D is already unlocked. So we will switch to D basically after this one. Now Steer has some exclusive flowers in the final stage, and we will revisit there when we unlock the stage select. Just same with card. There is no reason to go to final stage by passing to dead stages. Now I skipped that flower with Vikol. I did a high jump from top to get the flower in there. Now I am killing these enemies because I will jump to that really high statue, and the enemies could hit me in midair, which will cause me to down to the sea. So I will clean here, then I will get the last flower of the lake, which is one of the most heart-stopping ones, because that jump is very risky and very hard. I do it consistently, but
You know, look at this jump. It's so scary. If I fail here, it will ruin the whole video, you know. So I'm taking my time, basically, you know. Dying here is not important. I already collected the flower. But as you see, it is so stressful. This and one of the flowers of at the final stage, you know, there is a tank moves on, and you are racing with tank to the flower, but it is so hard. You know, that D flower and this you know, jumping flower is like making my hair go white, basically. They are hard. Time is the red orbs to me, you know. I believe someone called this Walker bot or something. It fits him, you know. This is one of the coolest boss themes, by the way. Music in this game is amazing. The composer also did some of the Castlevania musics, you know, since they are the, you know, same company. Music is so good in this game. Even in the ones that are not listenable, fits the environment, just like this stage. Now, you wouldn't listen this music with your earphones or anything, but it fits the stage, you know. If your music is not that listenable, at least it should fit the environment, or at least it should serve the purpose. In this game, every soundtrack does that. There is not even a single soundtrack that makes you go what the fuck. In Symphony of the Night, for example, there is this funky music in the Colosseum, and there are lots of like dungeon-like places, lots of bloody places with skeletons, etc. And there is that funky music that doesn't suit that at all. And that music is actually good, like, it just doesn't fit the stage in there. I'm skipping here, all these, you know, this stage is done with flowers, I'm just finishing it. It's, you know, slow movement of the... We can't do dashes like Vico and, you know, steer, unfortunately, because with card and D, if you do dashes or jumps while you are standing still, there will be a small delay. You know, they will jump or dash like a half of a second later you did the command. But if you do dashes or jumping while you are moving around, then you will do them immediately. But there are many times you must, you know, dodge stuff, and this restriction of movement really lets you down. Especially against bots that shoot, you know, blue lasers. There's nothing to say about here. No energy crystals or anything.
Warning. 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 Warning.
Perhaps collecting an energy crystal in the other corner of the map would be faster. But no, it's not faster. I forgot that the boss has a really low health bar. I mean, look at it, he's about to die. This boss sometimes this boss is sometimes challenging if you break all these stones around, and if you don't kill him immediately, you know, he begins chasing after you. Like here, he usually moves in a straight line and you can easily dodge him. But if there are no stones to cover you, he's like curving his rotation to you and he chases after you. It's really scary because he moves really fast.
On a charge.
Here again with the lake stage. Stone edge is here. I'm sorry, not floating stone. The enemy design is so good. Look at everything. There are aliens, robots, all kinds of enemies. Some aim where you are going, some are melee attackers, some of them fly. Some of them, you know, hides underground, like in the town stage. Some are like these lizards, you know, coming out of water when you provoke them. There are so many different enemies and boss battles. This game is so good. I can't believe this game never got popular or anything. This game deserved it. This game is better than a Final Fantasy VII in my opinion. And I like Final Fantasy VII a lot. Like, the first time I saw the death scene of Aerith, I was so sad. I still remember, but I'm talking about gameplay wise. This game is so better than everything else. And I played some of the best PlayStation games. I played Crash Bandicoot games of PlayStation 1. I played Tekken 3 a lot. I still played the newest Tekken games. What else? I played Gran Turismo, which is actually not that good in my opinion. The controls are a bit weird. I know it is a simulation or anything, but I don't know. Car movements, I don't know. I'm riding cars, you know. There's something wrong in Gran Turismo 2. Like, the cars don't turn well, and after you force it a little, you know, the car, you know, drifts or turns a lot suddenly. Like, it's a bit weird.
Got one.
What else I played on PS1? I played Symphony of the Night. It was amazing. It's Final Fantasy VII. All are great games. Now Tekken and Crash Bandicoot had a special spot compared to the rest, but again, FF7 and Castlevania was very good. Like, they are better than probably like 90% of the PlayStation 2 and 3 games probably. Despite being PlayStation 1 games, they were that good. Same with Tekken 3 or Crash Bandicoot games as well. The Crash Bandicoot games of PS1 were like the best platform games ever, in my opinion. I'm not saying most popular or most iconic, but the controls, levels, enemies, you know, stage designs especially. Crash Bandicoot it was so good. Especially Crash 2. Like, I hated 3 a little. It had lots of these vehicle levels, like blimps, jet skis, and all of the controls were terrible. Crash Bandicoot 2 was, you know, pure and raw Crash experience basically. But this game is best. Like, this game is my favorite of all time. It's sad that it never got the attention it deserved. I'm really sad. I can imagine a sequel to this game, like more characters, more skills, more levels. You know, on top of these levels, like keep these levels and add a few more. With a nightmare or hell mode. You know, after maybe perhaps it is hard, but since I've been playing this so many years, I basically know every location of enemies. Like, I want some more, you know. It wasn't the case back in the day because until when I got this game first time, I was a kid. I struggled a lot until finishing the game, but right now I need some more. That tower left tower is done. It had one exclusive flower for the. Now we are at town. This stage is a nightmare with me actually. Now I need some mana because the bugs, since I'm doing it speedrun style, I needed to break those boxes and I need the lightning. With that I easily skip that part. And there are only one flower left in the stage and it is exclusive to card. It will be visited. Now here I struggle a little because again when they hit you, you drop and he rises up slowly, so I begin doing dashes. While you are doing dashes, you can't be dropped to the ground. You get the damage, but you keep moving. It is a nice stage to use. Spider boss. Spider boss could be nightmare with card, because card is a bigger hitbox, I believe, and those beam attacks are hitting you all the time. Unless you keep the distance very long. Like here. If you keep a good distance between you and the spider while you are playing card, it's alright. But if you can't do that, if you somehow catch to the spider while it was close, you are in trouble. And that beam attack does huge damage. If you got hit by it. I like this attack of the spider as well. It basically limits your escaping area. It could have been used better, but still good. Town is done with D. There are no exclusive flowers here as well. In order to collect other exclusive flowers of D, I am just doing here. With D, I will go until the final stage, because in the last stages of D, there are lots of exclusive flowers, so it's not like Recall and Steer. With Recall and Steer, stage 7 and 8 has no flowers at all. With D, there are lots of flowers in the last stages. So I will do the entire route, and when I finished, I will have the 80 flowers I wanted, and then I will do quick stage selects and you know, reach to the 100th flower. Here we will watch the destructive power of the as soon as, you know, I kill these turrets. Just like that. Look at the damage. With infinite energy, D has huge damage. Like, you can spam those black orbs and vaporize everything in your path, including final boss. It is not the case with Steer because of the animation with Nova. So you can't be that fast, but since there are no animations with D, you can spam these attacks in infinite energy. And in that case, you don't even need the red orb. You just spam the black one and kill everything. Now this is where I'm talking about. I have no energy, so I must kill a tank before dying and collect the sources that it drops. Afterwards, with you know, red orb, I kill rest of the tanks easily. Like right now, I will collect that. With red orb now, they die easily. And of course, I will collect the drops and I will repeat the same thing until all of them is done, basically. At the first, I was in danger, basically, and while I was in danger like that, trying to collect the flower would be a bad idea, because I turn around a lot here, as you see. So it is hard to determine where the flower is after turning around that, you know, so much. That was a successful run. From here, I believe next is the train stage, subway. Now, so far I haven't, you know, visited subway. I skipped it with Vicol, and Steer initiates the stage on the train, so there are no flowers to collect. Now I will do this half of the stage with D, and the other half will be done by cart. It will happen this way because cart has an exclusive in the middle of the stage. So there was no point in clearing subway with Vicol, because there's an exclusive flower to cart, and I will, in order to reach that flower, I will do entire first half of this stage with cart. So there's no need to visit there with Vicol. Vicol basically has access to lots of flowers, but since he's the first character, the game didn't give him any exclusive flowers. Like, Vicol can't reach any flower that others can't do. No flowers is exclusive to him. Exclusive. Now the train section of D is very hard, especially if you are, you know, forcing yourself to not use the skills. I used to do that a lot. Like, I was doing runs in which I don't use specials because I have reached to a point where, you know, fighting enemies with specials are not fun. So I was playing game, but I wasn't using specials. And opponents coming into over you, like, look at this, I just killed the orbs and that piece of shit is right behind me. Like, you can't catch a break in this level, especially if you are not using the specials. But it is stage 8 and Subway and D is actually the final character you play, so it's being hardest kinda makes sense. The final stage is also hard, but this level is something else. Luckily that ammo, that shot didn't drop me, because while you are on top of the train, you can get shot and drop, and it will cause you to drop from the train as well. Because when you drop, you are sliding back a little, you know, just like in the lake stages. Luckily it didn't happen here. Now I'm trying to kill these bombs as much as possible, because if I don't kill them, they will cause me so much trouble. Now since it won't save me any time, because you know, killing these mobs early doesn't earn you anything, I didn't use the specials basically, I just fought them. They are coming 3 by 3, right? It was so hard back in the day. Now final boss with huge health bar. I have tried to aim the red orb here. I missed a little, but in the end I managed to rip his ears apart, which also causes him to do higher damage on the crystal. And it also allows me to not endure those triangle, flame attacks. Because once the ears are gone, that, he can't do these attacks. I'm trying to focus here now. The locking system works again great, but here in this boss it's a little bit hard to focus on the ears. I can still direct the auto target, it's still good, but the crystal, the ears and the arms are so close to each other that it is really hard to aim to ears, which is between arms and crystal. But I did here, so now it's very easy. Now that beam, in order to evade that beam attack, by the way, you basically do what I do. You are just, jumping to, left directly. If you do a basic jump while standing still, you will always get catched by that, laser. That laser is like, it goes from left to right, but also it's, goes from, bottom to top of the train. So if you stand, as it, moves from left to right, the laser height is rising. So you should evade the laser at the left side of the train. Now I will
do the hardest flower. I'm killing the robots next to the tank. Because now I must go as fast as I can. Now the tank will move forward and there's a flower in there. I must catch the flower before the tank. And no, it's really hard. It may look easy while watching, but trust me, it's so hard. If I didn't clear those robots, it was impossible because you know, tank begins moving early and the robots will most likely hit you if you try to ignore them. The final stage will be cleared except the final boss, because one flower is like very close to the end.
Got one.
There is that exclusive flower
Got one.
in the right door. Only D is short enough to enter here. You can't pick up the same flower with steer, I believe.
Got one.
Now there are two more exclusive ones, one with steer and one with cart in their stage entrances. They will be picked up with stage select. I enter this room to recover my mana. It will be useful later on against cameras, especially.
Got one.
Now this is where Recall begins the stage. That flower was supposed to be his, but it is, obtainable by anyone else. Anyone else also.
Life increase.
Let's get life extended. Let's do some speedrun stuff by jumping. Now I picked those energies in that room because now I will fight cameras way easier without wasting any time. Like that. Not wasting time with killing every camera. I go left right to, dodge the camera attacks while I'm waiting for the next floor. Now there is one flower that will cause me to do damage jumps. I will jump huge heights and I will lose some HP. So it is best for the player to not lose any HP in this section. This flower is very stressful to get also, but I usually don't fail this one. Now jumping through elevator is so stressful here, because if you miss it you immediately die after a huge jump. I mean a huge falling down. Now there is one in the bottom of the, elevator here. Now one more in the final room.
On a charge. Life
I need to
recovery.
sleep here.
Got one.
After we pick this flower, there is no reason to play with D again, and the stage select is now opened. I will collect a few, flowers and call it a day.
Please select character.
Now I didn't unlock card yet because you can't unlock anyone with D, but with steer, with stage select, I will easily go and pick card, unlock card. Here I got the flower first,
so that I won't forget it later on. It's an easy flower, it's right at the beginning. I picked rest of the flowers already.
Got one.
Here it is, and reset, basically.
Please select character.
Now it's time to unlock a card.
Stage 2.
These pictures are also so beautiful. Again, look at graphics, like, they are so good for a PlayStation 1 game. Doing those front dashes and linking front dashes to side dashes are so fun. Same with doing dash spams with Vicol, it is fun. Tires my fingers a little, but still. Let's unlock a card here and reset. I wish I knew the story here, like what is the rule of doctor?
Card
Is
30.
he a friend or
Select
foe?
now. Stage 1.
Did they do experiments or the forcefully or something? I wish there was a sequel, man. The storyline is so vague here. You don't understand what's going on. Like, are these characters have separate storylines, or they are in the same universe or something? In the subway level, Dee enters a stage by breaking a what's it called? He basically jumps into the stage from the roof. And he drops the plate. One of the plates. And when you enter the same spot
Please
with card,
select character.
you see that plate is dropped. You see the very same plate that D dropped here,
Stage 3.
in there. So it is like D was there before card or something, like, I don't know. Never explained. And card is bad at movement, but yeah, of course he balances it with huge firepower, but isn't he so cool, man? I mean, look at this guy. The guy is like a human tank. The clothes are like military clothes. He's like a general or something. And I like the griffon at the back of his back. He's good. Also, I must talk about the flowers have reasons. I mean, rewards. With 30, when you collect 30, you explain a few, posters of the characters. one of them is basically just a character in front of a white empty screen. The other one is a exclusive deemed poster. Cards is so cool. Like he has he's a general in an army. All of his men are standing right in front of him, expecting him, and Card is like explaining them an operation that they are about to do or something. And he's tall, he stands strong like a man, like he's cool, man.
Please select character.
His face is so manly as well, like he's a tough guy. Look at him.
Resume from stage 5.
In his ending with that wanted posture especially, he looks so tough. I like tough characters.
Got
Choose her
one.
again. Alright. Now, this is why I didn't enter this stage with Vicol. Because there is one exclusive flower on the road, and in order to get that with card, I will pass all these, spaces anyway. So playing here with Vicol and then passing empty flower locations with card like that would be stupid in a speedrun. I remember finding this flower here. I was so happy finding this secret room. A long road, but fine, I want it. I believe I shot S. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Again with grenades, I don't know. Many people don't like card. I just find it very unfit for the speedrun. You can easily do a infinite point challenge with him. And as you see, I obliterated those robots easily. The one stage that Card sucks at is the desert with all these tanks. Now he kills tanks very fast because his grenades are like vaporizing them. But until you finish all the tanks, you got hit a lot with Card because of his huge hitbox.
Stage 6.
Outside of that stage, Card is good at every stage. I believe this is the final flower in the final stage. Oh no, this is town, alright. Again, this flower is at the beginning. One thing that is hard with Karto is switching between Buster Laser and Grenade. The other two weapons are
Please
useless,
select character.
especially the homing missiles. They are getting confused all the time. They are moving to awkward places.
Resume from final stage.
So the flamethrower is useful when you are doing the infinite point stage because you will kill the leeches or larvas with a flamethrower. It is the best way to kill them. And since flamethrower is a close range weapon, you will easily collect all the collectibles as well.
Got one.
So again, Card is not necessarily a bad character, and this was the final flower. With this, in 1 hour and 20 minutes, I collected all 100 flowers and I unlocked the infinite energy. Thanks for watching.